Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Last week, on the 31st of October, it was the 562nd anniversary of the birth of Christopher Columbus, the Italian explorer who sailed to America. And so tonight, I want to talk about Christopher Columbus's struggle to get acceptance of his unconventional ideas. I want to talk about his eventual success, and I want to ask, what lessons does his story hold for us? So Christopher Columbus was born in Italy in 1451. But the world he was born into was very different to the world of today. Today, we know what the world looks like from space. But at that time, Europeans who looked west saw only a vast ocean leading to the end of the world. But Christopher Columbus had other ideas, because he'd worked out that the world was round, so he knew that if he sailed west, he wouldn't fall off the end of it. And so he decided to take a risk and lead a mission sailing west. But at that time, the only way to finance such a mission was to get the backing of royalty or other rich investors. And so he began a trek around Europe. He visited royalty in Spain, in England, in Portugal, in Genoa, in Venice, and each time his potential patrons would consult with their experts, who would laugh at the ridiculous idea that the world was round. Eventually, he persuaded the King and Queen of Spain, Ferdinand and Isabella, to take a gamble on him with no expectation of success. He sailed west, and of course was proved spectacularly right when he found the continent we now know as the Americas. And I think his story tells us that it doesn't matter if we disagree with the experts. If we're firm in our beliefs, we can be proved right in the end. And it doesn't matter if everyone says we're wrong. If we stick to our beliefs, we too can each be like Columbus and have our own spectacular success. Now that's kind of the end of the story. But I wonder if anyone spotted a deliberate mistake in what I said, because there were three. First of all, the story I told you was a load of rubbish. Secondly, the moral I asked you to take from it was really stupid. And thirdly, I don't think you should be taking your morals from stories in the first place. So first, the story was rubbish. That's not what happened at all. Educated of opinion had understood the world was round since the time of the ancient Greeks. The disagreement concerned the size of the globe. The experts in Columbus's day had calculated that it would be too far to sail west from Europe to Asia, and they were absolutely right. Columbus got his own calculations about the size of the globe completely wrong. He thought he was going to end up sailing to Japan. He just got spectacularly lucky that the Americas were in the way. And in general, while Douglas is absolutely right that we shouldn't judge other people, it has to be said that Christopher Columbus was a vile man, by our standards and by the standards of his own time. He was appointed governor of the Indies, and he oppressed the local population. He put the men to work in brutal forced labour camps. The population of the lands that he governed fell from 3 million to less than 100,000 in 14 years. His favoured punishments included mutilation and torture, which he dispensed for such crimes as men who refused to let him rape their wives. Eventually, he was rightly imprisoned, and he doesn't deserve to be remembered as a hero. So the story was rubbish, and the moral I asked you to take from it was stupid. Because if you want to know more about a subject, the best thing you can do is to try and learn and understand what the experts on that subject say. And if you disagree with those experts, they are vastly more likely to be right than you are. Even in Columbus's time, the experts of the day had calculated the size of the world fairly accurately. They just, quite reasonably, didn't know about this American continent that was in the way. And in general, we make progress in our understanding of the world by incrementally building on existing knowledge. Anyway, the point of all of this is just to try to illustrate the point that I want to make, which is that I don't think you should take your morals from stories. Because a great story has a great narrative arc. And an unconventional thinker, who everyone laughs at, but then who has the last laugh when he's proved right in the end, is a great narrative arc. But that's not what real life is like. Because in real life, if everyone says you're wrong, you're very probably wrong. Real life isn't us overcoming a series of obstacles on our way to an eventual triumphant conclusion. Real life is everyone thinks they're the good guys, a load of random stuff happens, you have good days and bad days, some people are luckier than others, you muddle your way through the years, the time passes and eventually you die. And there's no narrative, no uplifting narrative, no tragic narrative that captures all of that. And so at the beginning of this speech, I said, I wanted to ask, what lessons does the story of Christopher Columbus hold for us? Well, the answer is none. Madam Toastmaster.